Libra. Why is it considered the sign that best resolves conflicts in the Zodiac? The room was about to explode. You could feel it, that electric tension in the air. Two people you love, both certain of their own truths, both wounded by their own pain, both ready to say things that couldn't be undone. And everyone else? Paralyzed, afraid of making things worse, afraid to choose a side, afraid to touch the bomb. But you breathed, not because you were calm, but because something within you is active at this moment, something you didn't even ask for, something you've carried since childhood, and you entered into the middle, literally into the middle, between fire and fire, between reason and reason, and you began to weave, not taking sides, never taking sides, but weaving understanding. What you heard was this, but what he meant was that. What you felt is valid, and what he felt is too. Both are hurt, both have the right to be, and both want the same thing deep down, to be seen. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, tension began to dissolve, limbs relaxed, voices lowered, eyes that had been fixed on the attack began to truly see each other. And in the end, a hug, tears, resolution, and everyone looking at you with that look of how did you do that? And you smile, because that's what you do, that's what you've always done. Enter into chaos and create order, enter into war and create peace, enter into conflict and create harmony. Not because you want to, but because you can't help but do it. And then what? Then when everyone leaves relieved, reconnected, at peace, you crumble, alone, because no one sees the cost. No one sees that you absorbed all that tension, all that pain, all that poison that was about to be spat out. You filtered it through yourself, and now it's inside you, and you don't know how to get rid of it, because that's the secret to why Libra is better at resolving conflicts. It's not just skill, it's necessity. You resolve other people's conflicts because you can't exist in disharmony, because conflict around you is conflict within you, because their peace is the only way for you to have peace. And this is a gift and a curse, all at the same time. And let me show you exactly why you're the best, not with empty praise, but with specific truth about what happens inside you during conflict that doesn't happen in anyone else. You see it simultaneously. Other signs see linearly, first one side, then the other, and then maybe they compare. But you see both at the same time, not consecutively, simultaneously. It's like having two eyes that function independently. One sees completely person A's perspective, the other sees completely person B's perspective, and both are real, both are valid, both are true, and this isn't theoretical. You feel it physically. When person A speaks, you feel pain in your body. When person B responds, you feel their pain too. And your body holds both pains, both truths, both reasons. And your job, it's to find places where both can coexist. You translate emotionally. The person, they say one thing, but they mean another. The person acts one way, but they're feeling differently. And most people react to what is said, to what is done. But you hear what's underneath. You see the fear disguised as anger, the pain disguised as accusation, the need disguised as attack. And you translate. When you say he never listens to you, what you're really saying is that you feel invisible, right? And the person stops because you named what they couldn't name. And suddenly it's not about who's right. It's about two people who want to be seen. And that you can resolve. You don't let ego get in the way of conflict. Other mediators have an agenda. They want to prove they are wise. They want to be seen as heroes. They want recognition for solving problems. But you disappear. At best, you are invisible. You don't want credit, you want peace. And without ego getting in the way, without the need to be right, you can be genuinely neutral. And genuine neutrality, it's rare, it's powerful, it's essential. You create a safe space instantly. Something about your energy, your presence, it makes people lower their defenses, not because you're weak, but because you're not threatening. You won't judge, you won't take sides, you'll listen, really listen. And in that space of being heard without judgment, People open up, people admit vulnerability, people stop performing and start feeling. And what happens when both are feeling instead of performing? When both acknowledge fear, pain, and need instead of just attacking and defending, resolution becomes possible. It's not easy, but it is possible. And right now I need to ask you something. Are you tired? Tired of always being the one who solves problems? Of always absorbing tension? Of always sacrificing your peace to create peace for others? Of never being able to explode because you're the one who prevents explosions? If so, write in the comments, I'm tired of carrying everyone else's peace but my own. Why admit this? Admit that being a gift is also a burden. It's not complaining, it's honesty. And when you admit it, when you name the cost of being a peacemaker, you give permission for other Librans to admit it too. And community, a community of people who understand the weight, that lightens the burden. So comment, because you're not alone in this, and perhaps together you can learn to resolve your own conflicts with the same mastery you resolve those of others. And it's about how you do what you do, the process, because for other signs it seems like magic, it seems like inexplicable intuition. But it's not. It's a specific process that you execute so quickly that it seems instantaneous. But when slowed down, it has stages. Step 1. You absorb. In the first moment of conflict, you absorb everything, every word, every tone, every piece of body language, every emotion, and you don't filter it yet. You haven't judged it yet. You just absorb it completely, like a sponge. And that hurts, because you're absorbing anger, pain, fear, accusation, all raw, all unprocessed, all toxic. But you absorb it because you need complete data. You need to feel the depth of each position. And feeling, that's the only way to truly understand. Intellectual understanding doesn't resolve emotional conflict. Only emotional understanding does that. So you feel everything, and you retain it. Step 2, you organize. In your mind you create 2 spaces, one for person A, one for person B, and you place each piece of information in the right space. This is his fear, this is her pain, this is his pattern, this is her wound, and you organize it until you have a complete map of each person, not superficial, deep, including things they themselves don't realize. And this organization, it happens in seconds. While you're smiling, waving, still absorbing, your mind is categorizing, mapping, understanding at a speed that seems impossible, but it's real, and it's exhausting. Step 3, you find common ground. Within 2 seemingly opposing maps, you look for overlap, and there's always some, always. Even in the most polarized conflicts, there's always a shared human need. Both want respect, both want to be heard, both want security, both are afraid of losing something important. And when do you find that? When do you identify a shared need? You have a foundation, you have a place where you can build a bridge, because a bridge doesn't connect identical places. It connects different places through a shared foundation. Step 4, you rephrase. You take what each person said, often in an attacking, defensive, accusatory way, and you rephrase it in language the other person can understand. When you say you never, what you're expressing is that you feel unprioritized, and that hurts. Can we talk about it? And reframing works wonders, because the person who was being attacked suddenly had a need, not an accusation. And when they hear need, when they understand the real pain, defenses lower, empathy emerges, and the possibility of resolution appears. Step 5, you guide them to the solution. You don't solve it for them. That would be temporary. You guide them to solve it together. What do you need from him to feel prioritized? What can you do to show that she is a priority without sacrificing your needs? And you ask questions, many questions. Questions that make them think, feel, consider, and slowly through their questions they arrive at the solution. And why did they arrive at it together? Because it was their choice, not your imposition. A tough solution. A solution has emotional buy-in. The solution resolves not just the symptom but the cause. And this process, you do it without thinking. It's automatic, it's instinctive, it's who you are. But automatic doesn't mean cost-free. Instinctive doesn't mean easy. And who are you? Sometimes it's hard to be. Because after absorbing, organizing, finding common ground, reformulating, guiding, all while maintaining neutrality, while holding space, while not showing your own exhaustion, you are left with residue, emotional residue of conflict that you filtered. And this residue, you carry it, alone. Because who resolves the conflict of resolving? Who creates peace for the peacemaker? And that's the part nobody talks about. The hidden part of being better at resolving conflicts. You're better because you pay a price others don't. You absorb poison. You process toxicity. You transform chaos into harmony. But transformation, it leaves a mark on you. And perhaps the worst part, you can't resolve your own internal conflicts with the same mastery. Because when is it your conflict? When is it your pain? You can't see them simultaneously. You can't be neutral. You can't create safe space for your own contradictory emotions. You are a doctor who heals everyone but yourself. An architect who builds bridges for everyone but to cross your own abyss. And this isn't a flaw. It's the nature of a gift. The most powerful gifts always have a proportional cost. And your gift for resolving conflict, it's so powerful that the cost is that you rarely have your own conflict resolved until it disintegrates on its own, or until you find another Libra who understands. But here's what you need to understand about why you're the best. It's not just technique, it's not just process, it's that you have something others don't. You need harmony to survive. Literally, unresolved conflict around you isn't just uncomfortable, it's unbearable. It's like constant loud noise that no one else hears but that deafens you. So you decide, not out of pure altruism, not out of infinite kindness, but out of a need for your own peace of mind. And that need, it makes you better, because you are motivated not by external recognition but by an internal imperative and internal motivation. It's more sustainable, more powerful, more effective. Others can learn techniques, they can study mediation, they can practice neutrality, but they do it because they choose to. You do it because you need to. And necessity. Necessity makes you excellent in ways that choice never would. And what to do with this knowledge? First, honor the cost. Stop minimizing what you do. Oh, it was nothing. Anyone could have done it. No, not just anyone. You, with specific skills, at a specific cost. Honor that, acknowledge that, value that. Second, set boundaries. You don't need to resolve every conflict. You don't need to be a mediator in every situation. You can choose, not this time. I don't have the energy. You need to resolve this yourselves. And boundaries, it's not selfishness. It's sustainability. It's recognizing that to continue being good at this, you need breaks, you need protection, you need preservation. Third, seek reciprocity. Find people who can do for you what you do for others, not exactly in the same way, but people who can make room for your contradictions, for your internal conflicts, for your complexity. And when you find them, cherish them, take care of them, because they are rare and precious. Fourth, learn to apply the process to yourself. When you have internal conflict, and you often do, try to do what you do to others. Absorb both sides of yourself, organize, find common ground, reframe, guide yourself toward a solution. It's not easy. It's like a surgeon operating on himself, but it's possible, with practice. And the final revelation about why Libra is better at resolving conflicts, it's not because Libra is more evolved, it's not because Libra is more spiritual, it's not because Libra is superior. It's because Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of harmony, beauty, and relationships. And Venus in Libra isn't just about creating aesthetic beauty. It's about creating relational beauty, harmony between people, balance between needs, justice between positions. Is it a symbol of Libra? Scales. There is no static scale, a scale that moves, that adjusts, that seeks balance through constant movement. And that's what you do in conflict. You move between positions. You adjust the weight on each side. You seek the point where the scale finally stops, where balance is achieved. And achieving balance, that's your art, your calling, your gift, but also your burden. Because a world that needs constant balance is a world that is always in conflict. And you are always working, always adjusting, always searching. And rest is rare. But when do you find it? When the conflict is resolved, harmony is restored, peace is created. You feel something others don't feel. Deep satisfaction, alignment with purpose, a feeling that you did what you were born to do. And that feeling, even at all costs, it's worth it. So yes, Libra is better at resolving conflicts, but not because it's easier for you, because it's more necessary. Not because it costs nothing, because you are willing to pay the cost. Not because you don't feel pain, because you feel everyone's pain and transform it into peace. And if you are a Libra reading this and recognizing every word, know this: you are seen, your invisible work is seen, your silent sacrifice is seen, and your gift changes worlds, one conflict at a time, one harmony at a time, one peace at a time. Continue, but also rest. Continue, but also protect. Continue, but also receive, because the world needs your gifts. But you also need care, and care, it begins with you honoring what you do, setting boundaries in how you do it, and seeking reciprocity so that you too can be harmonized, balanced, at peace. You are the best, not by accident, by design, cosmic design that made you exactly what the world needed. And even at a cost, you are perfect on paper, absolutely perfect.